We only have one life to live. We only have one life to live. We only have one life to live. And we are living. Don't even strive on negative vibes. Cause you won't make it no matter what they say. You should always try to live a positive life anyway. We only have one life to live, and we are living. Don't even strive on negative vibes, cause you won't make it no matter what they say. We should always try to live a positive life anyway. We all know time is running out every day. The people that we know, the life is not a game that we play. If you're not sure about this dance, I want the whole world to confess that we all should try to live our life the best way that we can. So I know we only have one life to live.
That's right.
And we are living. Don't even strive on negative vibes, cause you won't make it no matter what they say. You should always try to live a positive life anyway. Oh, yeah. We only have one life to live, and we are living. Don't even strive on negative vibes, cause you won't make it no matter what they say. You should always try to live a positive life anyway. We all know time is running out every day. The people that we know, that life is not a game that we play. If you're not sure about this test, I want the whole world to confess that we all should try to live our life the best way that we can. So I know we only have one life to live, and we are living. Don't even strive on negative vibes, cause you won't make it no matter what they say. You should always try to live a positive life. Try to live a positive life. Try to live a positive life anyway. Yeah. Oh, we only have one life to live. We only have one life to live. We only have one life to live, and we are living. Don't even strive on negative vibes, cause you won't make it no matter what.
Yes. Applause button is strong, baby. The applause button is strong. The applause button is strong. How y'all doing tonight? How y'all doing tonight? How y'all doing tonight? Yeah, baby. Oh, sookie. Hey, greetings, family. How you doing? How you doing? Yeah, we got applause buttons and all that good stuff tonight. Myself and Empress Aisha Moore will be on tonight. Of course, before we bring on our co-host, it is now 50 minutes after the hour and 10 minutes before the top of the hour. It's your brother, King Simon. And before I show myself and show the rest, we do got to shout out the sponsors in the building. Also, and remember, if you want to do a Numerovation session with me, you got to text me via King Simon if you're outside of the United States, you could use this number and use WhatsApp. Of course, you could use WhatsApp, and that's 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022 via WhatsApp. If you live outside of USA, that's if you live in Canada. If you live in England, if you live in Africa, you can text me via those mediums. And remember, only way you can pay for a session, you can use PayPal or Cash App. I know people from outside of the United States can use PayPal. So respect to y'all, but those here in the United States can use Cash App. So let's make it that or PayPal. So it is on the screen. So you see all of that going on. Also, just want to remind everybody, remember, my books are on sale on Amazon. Of course, we got my newest book, Numerovation for Mental Stability. Then we got my first numerology book, Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated. Then we got my second numerology book, which was Numbers Are Simple, Children's Health is Important. And of course, my promotional book is No Promotion to Bad Promotion. And remember, when you support those three books that I just mentioned, you are also supporting Dr. Laila Africa and myself and Dr. Melanie. And we're going to see if we can get Dr. Melanie on, but give her a couple of months and we'll get her back on. All right, just want to remind everybody, tonight, we have the relationship gurus in the building coming up at the Akoma House Initiative at 9 p.m. They will be here live and direct. Love is what love does. That's what we speaking about. Do we know what love is? We're going to touch on a lot of subjects, especially in regarding to love and health and all that good stuff. So we're going to deal with that. Also, remember this Tuesday, guess what? If you've purchased any one of these books, this one, and this one, you are welcome to be part of this exclusive private Q&A with the Numerovator, King Simon. And of course, it's called Numerovation for Stability. That's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be questioning you. We're going to ask you questions. I'm going to be getting questions. And Dr. Angela Anaton, the author of the book called It's Your Fault, is selling very well. She's doing well. I've had her on this station, but her particular broadcast is on my Patreon page, and that's King Simon Productions on Patreon. So and if you have bought my book, please, any one of my books, you are welcome to this Q&A exclusive. I don't usually do this, so this is my first time really doing an exclusive private Q&A. Email me at iamkingsimon@gmail.com. That's iamkingsimon@gmail.com. Also, of course, my partner in Vibe, she has her earrings, her handmade exclusive vibrant earrings called Womillion _adornments at DM, but it's called Womillion Adornments. So enough respect to her. She'll be on momentarily. And also, once again, family, if you want to get my newest book, go to Amazon. If you want the soft cover, it comes real fast through Amazon. But if you want the hardcover and you want to come to me, as a matter of fact, with me now, I only got 4 left. So if you want 4 of them, you can go to kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com/product. And make sure you go for the hardcover, but make sure you put your address in the PayPal link if you want me to send it, because then I can mail it out by tomorrow or Tuesday, since tomorrow is Martin Luther King Day. It might not be tomorrow. So it is what it is. Also, remember, people, Lloyd Strayhorn has some great classes on his website. So he got deals going on for the classes. He got 2 new classes. He got 2 classes on there now. It used to be 1, but now he got 2 classes. And you could actually hit him up at www.lloyd-strayhorn.com. That's www.lloyd-strayhorn.com. Show him some love. And after that, I got my classes coming up. So make sure you email me if you want to be a part of my classes, or you could text me if you want to be a part of my classes at 347-496-1022, but email me at thenumerovator@gmail. Email me at that. Also, of course, we have petalwise.com. Remember, Petalwise have some great antiviral herbal tensions and all that. They got some great stuff for pain relief. They got great stuff for women exclusively. She's like a natural gynecologist also, and they got great product on that website. And it's called www.petalwise.com. You see the website on the top of the page. And of course, I always have this content disclaimer. Remember, the views, comments, and opinions expressed by guests, speakers, or authors on this YouTube channel do not reflect or necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Yeah, we're going to have my brother and sister on today. Montsho and Nwasha Edu. They're going to be here. Shout out to everybody who's in the chat. Let me see who's in the chat. I see Shine Bright is in the chat. Nikki Love is in the chat. Lamont is in the chat. Chakra King is in the chat. Also, Caleb is in the chat. And people are coming in the chat. And I see my family backstage. Yeah, baby. I see them backstage, so we'll be bringing them up momentarily. You know, we got to read the brief bio that I got for them. So you know what it is. Now this cover here, we got coming. I'm waiting for my co-host to pop in, but if she don't come in, hey, nobody stop the show. You know how we go. Nobody stop the mother flipping show. You know how we go. That's what I do. I keep the show popping. Regardless of whom or what. That's how I learned how to do it. Especially in the Nation of Islam. They had to keep things moving. Back in the day. So I'm honored to have the couple that's going to be coming up momentarily. We got like 4 minutes before we bring them up at the 9 o'clock hour. And a lot of people's relationship has been stressed. Lord have mercy, especially doing this. I don't call it anything else but a reset. And like Les Brown says, every setback is a set up for a comeback. So if you ain't ready to set up for a comeback, you need to leave my channel right now, because I'm about that setup for a comeback. I ain't into the drama and promoting all the drama. Y'all know I don't do that kind of stuff. I ain't got no time for that. Lord, I know I ain't got no time for that. I could be a shock jock if I wanted now. I could go into shocking and debates and all that, but I ain't got no time for it. You know what I'm saying? I got things to do and people to talk to, like this beautiful couple, Montsho and Nwasha, that I'm going to be bringing up at 9 o'clock sharp. We got 3 more minutes before we bring them up. All right. So I'm glad everybody's tuning in. I'm glad people locked in from wherever you are. Please share, and like. Let me stream that on the below. Please share, please like, please share, please subscribe to King Simon Presents and the Numerovation Nation on YouTube. And remember, my website is kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. And of course, family, I got to big up, of course, my partner in Vibes, who is a spiritual upliftment and self-esteem consultation. You can hit her up or someone to speak to, or speak with. Contact Empress Aisha Moore. Email her at empressaishamore@gmail. For love gifts, you can hit her up at Cash App, and that's $ Empress Amore, and PayPal at Aisha McBride. So big up to that, and big up to what she does and all that. And maybe she can't make it. Maybe she's going through some stuff right now. I want to make sure everything is all right with her. There's something else that I needed to put on for the family here. That's what I didn't get to put on their particular Cash App. That's what I need to find right now. I know I had that on here. I know they sent it to me. Enough respect. I want to make sure I got their Cash App, because I need y'all to spread love. You gotta spread love. You gotta spread love to the family. Before we bring them on, I'm gonna read their bio real quick. Let me find his Cash App, because I know I seen it earlier in the feed that they sent me. I said, there it is. I see it. Let me write it up, family. Let me not play. Can't play with that. That's moolah, baby. That's moolah. Can't play with Cash App. That's part of the moolah movement. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to make sure the family gets supported, because they got a big workshop coming up. They celebrating 20 years, and we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about a whole lot of stuff, family. So get ready, especially all the ins and outs about relationship. You know how that go. Some of us are going through it. Some of us had lost relationship. Oh, man, people have been going through it. I've been here. People have been running. So it's now 1 minute before the hour. So what I'm going to do is read this brief bio that I have of them before I bring them on. Boom. Montsho and Nwasha Edu use the art and science of Black love culture to help you decolonize your love and create the relationship of your wildest dreams. They are happily married soulmates, team, and co-founders and co-directors of the Akoma House Initiative, a culturally based counseling and consulting firm. The Edus are the creators of Akoma Day, the cultural alternative to Valentine's Day, currently celebrated in 14 and more countries. The best-selling author of 3 books, Akoma Day Guide into the Science of Soulmating, You Are What You Cheat guidebook into understanding and overcoming infidelity, and 20 beautiful women, 20 more stories that will heal your soul, ignite your passion, and inspire your divine purpose, African edition. And they and the creators of Black Love School, an online portal that unifies a global Black community around the philosophies why to and methods on how to of harmoniously healthy Black love. Without further ado, let's give them a well-deserved round of applause as we bring them on right here, right now. Let me take this off. Let me take this off. Let me take this off. Let me bring me in. Stop playing. Let me bring me in. Stop playing. Let me bring the family in. A lot of mercy. A lot of mercy. Let's bring the family in. Family in. Let's bring the family in. Yeah, baby. I got mercy. Okay. See, I pay these people. I pay these people. Oh, they do. They doing too much, but they doing a lot. Greetings. What's up, family?
Greetings. Can you hear us good?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Hold on. Let me just make sure everything. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, just want to make sure everything is good, brother. Everything is beautiful, sister. It's all good, man. How y'all been? How y'all been handling doing the reset? How's everything, family? What's going on? Talk to me.
Oh man, we blessed, man. We doing well. We enjoying ourselves. We're working hard. A lot of things in the mix. A lot of relationship dynamics are magnified and exploding during this time. So it's a lot of work for us, and we're busy.
That's good. I'm so happy. Now, a lot of, I've had y'all on before, and it's a great time. And I know y'all are about to celebrate 20 years of this, this Akoma House, revolution, Akoma House Initiative. You know what it is. I'm just proud that, 20 years, some people can't even make it past 20 minutes most of the time. So I think, please tell the family, what is Akoma? Where does Akoma, what is the meaning of Akoma? Where does it come from? So those new people that are listening to me, please let them know. And remember, family, please share, and like. You see it scrolling on the bottom, share, so we can build the algorithm and so y'all can learn about relationship. Whoever wants to start first, ladies first, brothers first.
Yes.
Well, the Akoma is an Adinka symbol for what we call the heart, and Mr. Edu is about to put something up. So that is the Akoma. We have used the Akoma because of the principles of that symbolic language, the Adinka. So we're using the Akoma as the inspiration for an alternative to Valentine's Day, which is Akoma Day. And Akoma Day has been celebrated this is about to be the 20th year.
Yes.
And we are just using the Akoma to go with and kind of like an overview, an umbrella of the 7-day holiday that is Akoma Day. So Akoma Day starts on the 14th and goes to the 20th. But as you can see, Akoma House Initiative, we also use the Akoma in our company name. So the Akoma is just the idea of living from the heart, being mind and heart unified, and then house is where you're living. So your internal house, but your literal house if you're in a family and a relationship. And also just like the house as, the place where you restore yourself, reside, all of those things. And then initiative is us taking initiative for our relationships with self and others, and also initiation. So the idea of really being initiated into African culture. and that you have to actually do something, have the experience. So Akoma Day is a way for you to do kind of like a renewal of love, which is the purpose of a holiday. You know, to mark an annual holiday is really for us to renew our relationships with ourselves and each other and the community and the family, so that we are evolving towards the best, greatest version of our individual and collective character.
Love it. Hold on. Can you hear me? Can you hear me still? You can hear me? Okay, just want to make sure. All right. So now with you two, how long have you been together? Let's go down that road, because you know a lot of people say, wait a minute, they're in a relationship, they got all this going on. Wait a minute, how? Let's see what.
How long have we been together?
So this is also 20 years. This is our 20th year together. The reason that Akoma Day is celebrating its 20th year is actually a little bit older than 20 years in its conception. But the way it is today and the way it's known around the world really has everything to do with our relationship. So I actually came up with the concept of Akoma Day about 22 years ago. I had been postulating it for quite a while. And I was at dinner one night with Khalid Abdul Muhammad. Just celebrated his Earth Day.
Yes, sir.
You know, and so we were at dinner and I was telling him that, you know, I have this concept. I was showing it all to him. I laid it out to him, and he was working on Janame. And he was like, oh man, this is beautiful. This is, you should run with this. You should go with this and spread it to the Black family, the universal Black family. And so I was very inspired at that time, but I kind of still sat on it because I know now that what was missing was a divine reflection to help me, you know, spread it. Right. So a few years later, I met Nwasha, we got together, and immediately I shared it with her, and then she just really breathed life into it and really rearranged, helped me change some of the concepts that I had. I originally had it as a one-day holiday on February 14th, but knowing that the original celebration was a week long and that even Valentine's Day was originally a week-long festival. We decided to go back to that format to challenge Black people to really show love on a universal level for more than just the 14th, which is a hard undertaking because we follow the prompts of the dominant culture. So by the 15th, 16th, they done with talking about love, and so we follow suit a lot of times. But you know, so so we've been together 20 years. 6 children, you know, we've been through so many things together. The actual Akoma House Initiative firm is only 12 years old. So the holiday is much older than the firm, but we were in grad school together, knowing that we were going to start a firm. And then we said, you know, we really wanted to do something that we didn't see. We were looking all across the country for a culturally based firm, and we was like, a lot of stuff is whack. It's not, you know, nobody's really saying that, and it really wasn't anything out there. We found a couple people, a couple of them we're still close with, but most of them didn't last. They didn't stay together as couples, and or their firms didn't last, and it wasn't really culturally centered. It was just Black people doing the typical. It was their version, chocolate covered whiteness, right? And, so we decided to create this firm, and we, you know, it grew, and you know, we started 2008, May 2nd, 2008, 2009, May 2nd, our oldest daughter was born a year later. So exactly to the day after we started the firm. But yeah, so we got 20 years in, been through everything, traveled the world together, been through our ups and downs in our personal relationship. But we have maintained a high level of love, respect for one another, and all of the work that we do is essentially an outpouring of our relationship.
Mm-hmm. First let me shout it out. Let me put it up here because y'all celebrating this anniversary, this annual celebration of the Akoma Day, the International Alternative to Valentine's Day, from February 14th to the 20th, 2021. Decolonizing your love. Make sure y'all go to the website to find out more information at www.akomahouseInitiative. The www.akomahouseInitiative. Show them some love. Find out what's going on. What's the alternative family? Because a lot of us are still caught up in Valentine's Day and chocolate and all that kind of stuff. And I know you don't mind the chocolate, but I understand.
Many of the customs that we have that are in modern day Valentine's Day is it's really like capitalism and stuff like that. So they get anything to sell something. But a lot of the customs that we know, from poems to gifts to stories to monuments to those types of things, are really, that's really coming from us. There was a festival of Lupercalia where Europeans, it was like Roman Greco culture, that is their origin of Valentine's Day. But it was really taken from this week of love that Africans brought to the world from February 14th to February 20th, because it was a fertility time around the world and whatnot. The Greeks and the Romans kind of took it, created the festival of Lupercalia that was really misogynist. They were doing really psycho things like taking young women and stripping them down naked, beating them with a bloody strip of skin and raping them and stuff. That bloody strip of skin is called February, where the month February comes from. So, many of the things that we do, the exchanging of gifts and all of that, how you actually celebrate Akoma Day, we outline it in the book. And, we have some of it on the website, but I'm in the process right now today, putting some new stuff up because we have an amazing 20th celebration. We have some super people joining us from around the world to help us celebrate this 20th anniversary. And so we're real excited, but we outline actually how to celebrate it.
And I'm happy about this because I know I told you the story, and I seen you said it on your Facebook Live about
yes.
your book dropping, that same book you showed. I think that was the book. Show that. Let me put it up in the front. Hold on, let me show that. This book, family. Let me take this down first. Let me take the promotion down real quick before I want people to read the book. Okay, good. This book, family, was in Dr. Africa's library, in his closet. Actually, it was in his library, in his shelf in his closet. And I was putting my clothes in the closet because they gave me a room to stay in. And the book fell off the shelf. And that's when I said to myself, I'm going to call this, because I was deciding who I was going to bring for my 24th anniversary in promotion and production. And when that book fell off, it was I called them, I think the next day or a few, I said, you know what? It's time for me. Those are the biggest signs, because our Baba has transitioned since, and anytime things like that happen in people's houses like that, I take that as a sign. The ancestors are pushing books out of the door.
Yes.
I've been there many times.
It's amazing. So we do Akoma Day celebrations all around the country. Yes. We were hosting one every year in our hometown of Trenton, New Jersey. And every year, one of the things we do, along with the entertainment, and it's just a beautiful Black Love Day for everybody to participate in, single, couple, family, children, elders, whatever. But one of the features that we added, I think in 2009, we did a Akoma Wings Lifetime Achievement Award. And I think the first person we honored was Queen Afua. She came out, and it was a beautiful time. And the second person we actually honored was Dr. Africa, because he is a direct Jegna of ours. He taught us directly for many, many years. We spent a lot of time with him. And him and Dr. Stevenson came out and we had a great time. We did a workshop together, the four of us, a couple of days before, and then they stayed here with us. They stayed in this area. And then we did the Akoma Day celebration, and we have that video. I'm going to be sharing some of that video. That was 2011, I think, babe. Was it? Yeah, that was 2011. So whatever the math is, whatever Akoma Day that was, we were honored to have him, and that was actually really the last time that we spent with them. Is that right? Or did we see him again after that? I know we talked to them a couple of times, and we might have saw them in passing in Philadelphia, but really spending some time with them, that was the last time that we really got something to eat, really sit down and talk and spend some time together. And just recently to learn of his transitioning was devastating to us. It was,
yes, it was. It
was truly devastating, but his work is alive in so many of us, and we just honored to have been a part of to have had him been a part of our work, because he really supported Akoma Day, and he said some beautiful things that night at the Akoma Day celebration. And so one of the things I'm going to be doing during this 20th virtual celebration is, playing some of that Dr. Africa footage. It was great.
But this year he would be celebrating 75 years this year.
That's right.
So I'm more than likely going to do a live and probably ask y'all to come in and tell them about your history.
Oh,
get very happy to come in. I'm gonna let you know, and I'll text you the link and what time to come in. I'm gonna set it up for people, see if I can get Queen of Four and various other people, because this will be 75th year he would have been, and I still. Melanie is in and out right now, and so I can't really talk to you, and it's understandable, so right. I'm going to keep on with my salute. In the bottom of this description, family, y'all know I always have a link to his legacy if you want to send money or go support his classes. He taught all of his classes online before he transitioned, and they're intense. So if you still want to take online classes, and I just want to ask something about Doc. What did Doc's teachings, Dr. Africa's teachings, mean to you, and how did it help with the Akoma House initiative?
Oh wow, you want to? Because Nwasha, he always talked about Nwasha being one of his best students.
Please.
I was able to do. We did a course together with him.
Yeah, we did initiation with him once.
Right.
We did two more, right?
Yeah. So I had actually just had a miscarriage right before I did the course, and I just remember, really wanting to take care of myself and know more about what I thought I should know as a Black woman, just about health, biology, just from a cultural understanding. And I felt really fortunate that he made himself accessible, to teach the class live the way that he was doing for days, at a time. And personally, the daughter that, Montsho said was born on May 2nd was actually coming after I took his class. So after I explained to him, what I felt was not good bedside manner. And we kind of had this discussion about doctors not really caring for people emotionally or thinking of someone as a unified, holistic being. And I was, in good spirits at the time, but I just remember he was like, take these notes of what you need to eat or drink and what supplements you need. And I was flipping to the page, and he was like, just give me the notebook. And I still actually have it, his handwriting, telling me what to get. And, I think he had a lot of humor that I really appreciated in our classes and in every presentation. He had a lot of love, I felt. And I think that even when I do my courses, or we do ours together, it's just someone to model, right. A father in a way, this idea that you can be direct, you can still be loving, you can be humorous, you can just be yourself with this amount of information. It's really affected the way that I feel I can be, you know what I mean, as a guide or as a leader in, coursework or that level of giving people information. But I really appreciated that even the smallest thing with him, like one word, could turn it into a whole nother level of conversation. And that's something that I really appreciate. He came prepared with millions of things that he could possibly share, but he was very fluid and very present all the time, that if anyone brought up anything else, it was enough for like a whole nother course or a whole nother lecture.
We have so much of the teachings that he gave us about communication. We have an online communication product called Akoma Heart to Heart, and he really taught us about polarity, the difference in the way that men process and communicate versus the way that women process and communicate. We've been using that for the last 12 years with our clients because it's something that people are not taught. We talk to women and we talk to men, but we don't talk in their language. And so we don't make that connection. But then
a number of words.
But then also he gave us this really profound breakdown about the number of words that are being used, the style of words, the poor word choices, choosing proper word and, using proper words to express your emotional self. And then so much about the sexuality differences of men and women and their particular styles. But then, as you know, Dr. Africa, not only was he hilarious, like Nwasha said, Nwasha's a professor. You know what I'm saying? He was like a walking encyclopedia. So we would just be talking like after the class or sitting around with him, and you would say something, and then it would just turn into, we'll look up, it's been 3 more hours that he's been sitting with us just, and I went through one time for 12 weeks, I think, but then Nwasha went through 2 different other times with him. And so we used to go whenever we would see him in the tri-state area and we would know that he was speaking, we would go and see him. And then he would point to Nwasha. He would say, her, she know all this stuff. Talk to her. And then Nwasha was like, oh, no, I don't know all this stuff. But, so we incorporated a lot of his lessons, his bedside humor, his responses to thoughts and ideas that were unaligned. He was excellent at speaking in a way that realigned things. And so we incorporated that. We're always channeling Dr. Africa, Queen Afua, Francis Cress Wellesley, some of our greatest Jegnas that have taught us directly. We got just like 6 people that we are always, everything we say basically is basically coming through them. We just do it through the lens of relationship.
And people that are tuning in, please, if you want to contact the Akoma House Initiative for their services or courses, their number, the business number is 474, that's 609-474-4203. That's 609-474-4203. Remember now, they do consultation for couples and all of that. Remember their email is akomahouseinitiative@gmail.com. Their website is www.akomahouseinitiative.com. Their Facebook is, of course, at Nwasha. And of course, their PayPal is www.paypal.me/Akoma House Initiative. And I wanted to bring my co-host in because she just stepped in. Her name is Aisha Moore, Empress Aisha Moore. Salute, Aisha. Welcome into
hello, family.
Peace, Empress. How are you?
How are you both?
We're doing well.
Great. Wonderful. I love it.
Thank you that you made it. Thank you. I'm glad you made it, sis. I know you've been doing your thing. Glad you made it. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Now, I want to ask a question before we move on during this whole reset, I'm not going to call it anything other than that. How has business gone? How has relationship business gone for y'all too? Because I think a lot of people have been stressed through this whole thing. And I know relationships have been stressed. I know people have broken up and family has broken up. How has the Akoma House initiative worked through this whole reset since 2020 and what's going on now in this world?
Well, actually, I think that things have been great for us, because I think that what this year, 2020, showed a lot of people is that you can do something from your house. You can learn virtually, you can improve your life. And I think that a lot of people were thinking that definitely once we hit like this late spring. So I think that when people really said, hey, definitely on this East Coast, we might be in for the summer and the fall is how it's looking. I want to do something better than what I'm doing right now. And I think that people having been on meetings and online and on Zoom and all that type of stuff, really, I think the pivot to getting counseling in that way was different from previous years. I think the expectation of or the longing for community was also there. So I can definitely see like people appreciated Black Love School and learning and joining together with people from all over the world. So like the Black diaspora coming together. I also think, people recognized, unfortunately, in a few days working from home, that they don't have systems, for their family or for their intimate relationships. And I think sometimes people were realizing, I don't know this person, or I don't like this person anymore, and spending 24/7 with someone in our home, in our condo, in our apartments is a small space. And I think that what people realized is relationships can't be passive. And because I was going to work and you were going to work and we were meeting up for like 30 minutes to check in, we probably stretched our relationship out in some ways. And some people did definitely break up and say, hey, we need to go our separate ways. I don't want to be with you, which is still a good thing, a freeing thing, because now you're moving on to who you should be with. Right. But I think other people also saw, I love you, but we don't have a good way to communicate. Or I love you, but we have no system for continually getting to know each other. So we're not dating while we're still in this relationship. We're, again, passively watching movies or going out to dinner, but with purpose. When we don't have a lot of distractions, who are we? I think a lot of people were coming to that level of awareness.
Well, I think also too, we definitely got a couple of engagements. We're hired now to do our 7th wedding that we're looking to perform. And so, I think any times of stress or any times of change, I feel like 2020 symbolically was a clear vision revelation time. And so it really showed us where we are collectively and individually. And, especially us as Black people as a culture, with it being an election year in this country, and the summer, where Black people was tearing it up, and, then other people was in the mix and all of that. We got a chance to see, again, who we are on a collective level. We are definitely a people who believe wholeheartedly in love. We will fight and die and kill for love. But unfortunately, when it comes to building love, we have abandoned some of our cultural mores and our norms. And so we kind of lost. We don't have that art, which is the philosophy or the approach, or what we commonly call the why. And then we don't have that methodology or the steps, what we call the how. So that's the science. So you have the art and the science of Black love culture is what we teach. This is what we need in order to build family, because the one thing that I saw when you look at Black people especially here in America. You know, we're working with Black people all over the globe because of our cultural foundation. But when you look at Black people in America, what you're seeing is we don't have families. And when you don't have families, you can't compete on the world stage because all dynasties are a collection of families. Really, all nations are just a collection of families. And so we are 70% unmated homes, right? Our children are growing up in 70% unmated homes. The people that they are competing against, or just to put it bluntly, the people who are oppressing them are teams of families. So an individual, despite how talented they are, if they don't have a support system that is unified, then they can't win. And so we have to learn that unity doesn't mean uniformity. Like, we don't all have to be alike to be together, but we need to be together or else we'll perish as a group. And so we are out here attaching success to so many things, our intellectual property, our finances, all of those things are mean, in the words of Billy D, mean nothing. From the mahogany, it means nothing. If you have if you don't have someone you love to share it with, if you can't coherently pass it on to your children, we're therapists. We work with, you know, my youngest client is 4 years old. My oldest client is 67 years old. And they both talk about the same thing, the breakdown of the family. The 67-year-old person still talking about the impacts of a broken family. And so, yes, sometimes we make children and we don't stay together. It should be way less than it's actually happening, but sometimes that's a reality. But as African people, we don't have step parents. We take on those children when we remarry. So we have extended family, right? But what's happening now is we just popping out babies and making babies, leaving women, making babies, leaving men. And we're basing our decisions on the self and not the lineage. We're not looking at the impacts of, I'm going out here to date Friday night. What is the impact of this 200 years from now? We're not thinking like that. But the people who are oppressing us have to think like that in order to survive. And so what happens is we become a collective hamster on a wheel. I got my little paper, I got my little bag, I'm out here, and you know, who look good to me, who I'm dealing with. But our children are being devastated because the number one thing that we see children say is that my parents hate each other. And even though they pretend like they don't, or, you know, a lot of them do say, I hate your mom or I hate your dad. And that's like devastating because I'm half my mom and half my dad. Like, so you hate me? And should I be, I'm conflicted because I'm made up of both of you. So this kind of, or even when we don't say it, what happens is the children never see their parents cooperatively work in love for the interest of the child. So the child starts to internalize, is something wrong with me? Or, you know, I'm not valuable. Now, this is the person who goes out here and you got a group of people that are integrated fully, systemically in a society oppressing them. And then B, their potential mates are all as equally damaged or worse. And so we're repeating a cycle. So we have no Black nation without, you know, the people talk about spirituality, culture, money, all those things. There is no Black nation without family. So the new consciousness moving into this time of revelation, this reset, is we got to pull families together. We have to pull a coalition of families together. And especially where we have children, if there's any mending that can be done in those relationships to become partners, because that's what you was when you made them. You were sex partners, love partners, something. It was some kind of partnership that made these children. If we could, you know, reinstitute that and have some guidance around that using our cultural principles, we can see that we can get along way more than we're doing at this point in time. And, we got free consultations so you could check it out.
Before we move on, I want to make sure, Aisha, Empress Aisha, you got a question to give to our beloved couple here from the Akoma House Initiative, please. Turn off your mute your mic, sis. Unmute it. she forgot. You got it?
Yes, got it.
There you go. Go ahead.
My question is to start to mend as a single parent, how do you start to mend the relationship, or actually to help your child to mend, the damage that's being done or that's done to them without the cooperation of the absent parent?
Good question.
I think, we can encourage the cooperation of the absent parent by, starting a conversation. And just really a lot of times when we separate, it's that we had a conflict between what was happening and what our expectation was of the person. So I think that opening a conversation and saying what it is that you want and expect is a great place to start. But I also think that depending on the age of your child, that we should be appropriately honest with our children and let our children know what we want, and maybe even what we did not do before, because a lot of times our children don't get the opportunity to see us work out a relationship in front of them. So this is sometimes, the challenge that they bring into their teens and their young adulthood is they haven't actually seen conflict resolution. They haven't actually heard their parents say, I didn't do this right the first time, but I'm going back around because I've learned something, and I would really love for us to be able to, come together for birthdays, holidays every month or summers. And that didn't happen before, but I think it's what's best for you. And I think it's what's best for us. And I'm going to work to have that happen. So I think even if it doesn't happen right away, a lot of times we give up. Because we don't have the skills to do what it is that we want. Instead of reaching out to counselors and learning a new skill to handle your situation, a lot of times we say, I don't know how to handle that, so I just won't handle it at all. And what our children see is the extremes of that sometimes. So what they do is they either do what we do, or they say, I'm never doing what my mom did. And then that is the endless other direction, right? To infinity. They can try a whole bunch of stuff that they would have never tried because they're just trying to do something other than what we did. And normally that causes another issue that they just were unaware of. You know what I mean? So I think that if you think right now that someone is not cooperative, we really talk about indigenous culture and really the Black sciences of the world. So one of the sciences is magnetism. And sometimes we were just talking about this in Black Love School. If you think that someone's going to be uncooperative, they will be.
Okay.
And I hate to say that is super simple, because it could take a couple of weeks, a couple of months, or a couple of years, but holding your space of what your intention is and what your expectation is, and on behalf of your child, really saying, I have my own expectations, but I should be able to detach what is best from my child from just what is my personal preference. And if both of us can do that, then we can harmonize. So I wouldn't even say compromise in a negative sense, but compromise. We can harmonize this situation where what's best for the child is what's up front. And we're always reaffirming that, because sometimes we don't even ask them what they want or what is best for them.
Right. We make those decisions to cancel the other parent. And it's like kicking your child in their emotional ass. It's really, when they see and hear these negative things, I tell people to humor your child and tell your child, regardless of what their age is. My oldest son is 27, right? But tell them the stories of when you first liked each other. Tell them, oh man, your dad was so tall, or your mom was so beautiful, man. And we used to go to this place, or we met one night, and tell them the stories that ingratiate their other parent, because what they hear so much is, even when it's not, some parents are good, and they strive to not say, I really hate your mom or I hate your dad, but it's what comes out.
Right.
Because it is the tone and it is the absence of what is being said. So the child is trying to figure out, how did these two people ever have sex? Because they hate each other. And that's all I see. So sometimes you could go back and tell your story like, oh man, see that spot right there? Let me take you to this spot. This is the spot where me and your mom or me and your dad had our first date. And, I was sitting over there, and then paint a picture for them so that they see that you're human beings. And and what will come next is, naturally they'll start to ask, well, what happened? How did things go astray? And then you could tell them, well, from my side of the story, this is what happened for me. You have to talk to your mother or father about their side, and you have to get some insight. I think that what we're both grateful for is that you came out of our relationship, and that will be the greatest thing that we've ever done together. And that's why we're still connected. And that's why, even though we've chosen not to be together, we still have respect for each other, because in you is the best parts of ourselves, whether we ever realize those potentials or not. They're in there. And so you can kind of set up and frame your relationship that way, so that your child has something else to mull over in their mind, other than when they're talking to their parents, like, who that, your dad? Who that, your mom? Oh. Like, when you're hearing that all the time, you start to like, damn, something's really wrong with me. That's how the person internalizes. Not something is wrong with my other parent, whether the parent's a drug addict, in jail, whatever. The natural thought is that in me, for a child? Because it doesn't matter the age. The child has a subordinate mentality to their parents. So I'm 50 years old. When I think of my parents, I'm subordinate. So I think about them. I have now outlived my father, who passed at 45. But when I think about him, I'm never beyond him, because he is my beginning, right? And so I got a 67-year-old client who struggles with a lot of social ills and psychological ills, but he dates it back to his upbringing. And so that's the ramifications of it. You know what I mean? And he feels as though what he experienced in his home, watching his mother and father, has, put him on a trajectory that he has spent the rest of his life striving to undo. What he feels in his mind, he doesn't even have anything to do with, but internally the psychology has to attach some kind of meaning. So he's like, I know it's not me, but all my life I felt like something's wrong with me because something's wrong with my parents.
Right.
That's really deep. It's really, really a deep thing that we are overlooking in the Black community. And the impact of it is, we post a lot of pictures and people graduating from school and they doing amazing things, but nobody getting married. It ain't no families being passed on. And all that's happening is the people that's lining up against us, they're the 6th generation Oppenheimers, the 7th generation De Beers. It's like, how you gonna fight that with your little degree? You know what I mean? Or because you have $10,000 in the bank, how you gonna fight that? And you're the number one target that they after. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
Those that are just tuning in, please contact the Akoma House Initiative for their services and of course their course. I want to show that flyer because you gave me some flyers that I want to make sure we show and talk about it, because I have some other questions that I want to deal with. Especially, I want to find out, because my son just had my son and his queen just had a baby, and I think the wife is going through postpartum, and I want you to talk about that. But before we do that, let me just big up these things that you got coming up, that you have these flyers that I have here. Now, tell us about this this spring, of course, this Black Love School. and the change of focus of the season, winter culture, spring, summer. We're going to get into that. Tell us a little bit about this flyer here.
Oh, man.
Website.
This is our newest endeavor. We love this. Mm-hmm. It's called the Black Love School. It's an online portal where we come together with Black singles, couples, and those in between from all over the world. Literally, we got Black people from Tanzania, from Ghana, from Canada, from Brazil, from several islands, from Chicago, Detroit, New York. And the way it works is we come together it's a weekly membership where you get a monthly membership where you get 2 master classes per month and then 2 live calls. So like the first week of the month, you get a new master class. So this one was on magnetism, this last one that we just did. Then the next week we have a live call where we all come together and talk about the heart work. Because in the pre-recorded call, Nwasha and I go over some stuff, and then we give you what we call a heart work assignment for you to do by yourself, with your mate, with your family, whatever. And then the next week, we all come together on Zoom, and we're from all over the world, and we're talking about that heart work. It is an amazing experience because Black people don't really get to talk to Black people from these different corners of the world. And we've had a couple of hookups that have happened. A couple of relationships have started. But the Black Love School is an online portal. And in the spirit of Ma'at, the membership is $42 a month. Mm-hmm. Or you could go in and get any particular class, which has the pre-recorded class and a recording of the live call that went along with that class for $42. So for $42 a month, cancel at any time, you could get the membership, or for a single $42, you could go in and get a particular class. But every season, we change the focus of the Black Love School. So right now we're in the winter. It's what's called a culture of love. We're dealing with high spirituality and the spiritual consciousness and the intimate relationship. In the spring, we have Spring into Love is new beginnings and new relationships, creating new cycles in new relationships. Summer is the heat of love, where we have sex and intimacy and relationships. And then in the fall, we have the harvest of love. It's about self-care, friends and families, and our relationships. And so the Black Love School is a low price point, is dope. It brings together everybody from everywhere, whether you couple, singles. And what you get to see is, if you're single, you come in, you get to see where you are. You get to look at people who might be where you want to be. You know, we have some people in the Black Love School that's trying to leave a relationship. So when you come in, we have a Queen's membership and a King's membership. So like a couple that comes in, say Nwasha and I were a couple joining the Black Love School, we can't join together. Either we got to share, because we do gender specific work where sometimes me and the men break off and Nwasha and the women break off, or Nwasha will take all the men and I will take all the women. So when you come to the portal, you'll see there's a Queen's membership for $42 a month, a King's membership for $42 a month. And then you kind of, you get in where you fit in. And whenever you come in, you get access to all the previous classes that have been, we started the Black Love School in 2017, took a break for a while, but then we brought it back like the end of 2018. So for the last 2 years, we've been cranking out these classes, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, man. I encourage everybody to check it out. Anybody who wants to check it out, you can go to the portal, and we do have up a couple of classes for free that they can see.
Right. And before we move on, you just said something about gender specific, because there's a lot going on in this world, brother.
Yes.
And it's touchy, but I gotta touch it because I know they're coming. I just know they're coming. How do you handle those sometimes confused people that are going through certain confusion in their life due to whatever they went through? How do you handle that might come to your classes? Because I know y'all are about the natural love. So I mean, how do you handle, because people are still seeking that type of awareness and wisdom from people like yourselves. How do you handle when people come with those type of relationships? Because they now created like 72 genders out of 2. So I don't know how this. So please tell me how this works.
Well, you know, it's 2 genders, and we're African centered. So what we're basing what we're doing on is, as I said, not just the price, but the philosophy, everything. And so, we definitely, I don't know that we have anybody who's gender confused or anybody who describes themselves as other in the Black Love School, but anybody who comes in, your only requirement is to be a Black or brown person. We treat you with respect, and the master classes are pre-recorded. So the live calls that we have is about the master classes. Of course, other things come into play because you got a live element with Black people from all over the world. So it's a party every 2 weeks. But we keep it to the subject matter, and most of what we see is that most people look at us and see some reflection of themselves in us. So, we haven't really had that. But, let me say this. My sister is a psychologist. She's in that community of people. She identifies herself as a lesbian. I just spent some time with her in Atlanta. And during that time, we had a live call of Black Love School. So I was remote. Nwasha was handling, and I was checked in as one of the clients. And my sister, she witnessed some of the class. She loved it. She sent us about 4 or 5 clients. So, I mean, we Black people, you know what I'm saying? We don't deal with interracial couples. We don't deal with LGBTQP. We don't deal with them. But what we do is embrace them if they come and redirect them somewhere else.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
okay.
We'll see something.
I can't hear you.
And all the people that you could go to, I think that someone who's looking for, like you said, natural relationships or indigenous culture, it's only going to be certain people who are attracted to certain providers, And I think that when we probably speak more globally, we attract more people. Right. Because I know, like, when I just speak sometimes to women and a group of women, you don't know what their relationship status is. And I think the same would happen in our larger presentations when we're speaking to like 5,000, 1,000 people, 500 people in a room. But I think the people who are following us or using Akoma Day or the most attracted to the indigenous culture aspect have, just been interested in either joining the Queen's membership or the King's. We haven't had anybody who said, I'm like both. Yeah. Or I was a queen, but now I'm a king. So far, we haven't had that.
They get out of that membership. If they do get that, if they wasn't born a man or woman, they getting out. That's all there is to it.
I wanted to
still love them, but they getting out.
I wanted to ask that because I know it's a sensitive subject nowadays, and I don't like walking on eggshells. I remember one time I was on the trains in New York, and I was giving out flyers and speaking on the train. I said, "Look, I'm not going to be a closet heterosexual.
Right. That's right.
I'm me. That's just what I am, and I'm going to keep my bass in my voice. If you don't like my bass, just don't. You put your hands on me. I was taught to break hands if you put your hands on me. That's right.
That's right.
That's how we were taught. You know what I'm saying? Especially with Dr. Khalid and the FOI back in the day. That's how we were.
That's right.
Things are really important, though. When you, especially, I think those things are very important when you're in a room of women, so although this is virtual, there are certain things that are part of your emotional makeup, your mental makeup, your, conditioning in society, even in the diaspora. Right. So a lot of times even in these conversations or these circles about gender, women, can still fall at the bottom of the conversation about women. And I'm saying women who, no matter if you've had your uterus removed, if you don't have a menstrual cycle right now, or you're, a girl, you haven't gotten it yet, but there's this idea that just because you are saying that you're a woman that you're a woman without the conversation of including women to actually define that. Similar to how men should be defining what it is to be a man and not have other people defining that. So I think when you're in a group of women and you want to be in a group of women, there's nothing wrong with saying that I want to be in a group of women, and that's where I feel comfortable. So I think that, you know, like you said, you don't want to be I'm not going to be a closet woman and say that anybody who, you know, dresses from the women's department of a, you know, or out of a catalog is a woman because they put on some of the garments that women wear. You know what I mean? Or take extra hormones or hormone blockers. I'm not going to say that that's all that there is. That's the sum of, you know, being a woman.
Right.
Yeah, I think that Black people have to be very intelligent and loving about this conversation. I think that we have laid down, and specifically Black men, I think we have laid down because of social pressure. It's like the 8th grade. Now you're scared to say something because on TV, you know, everybody's lying, and everybody, you know, if everybody in the room crazy, you crazy too. That's what you tell your children, right? If everybody on the bridge, you gonna jump too, you know. But now, because everybody says that there are more than 2 genders, now everybody trying to act like there is, but there isn't. So, you know, we have to be intelligent. We are loving people, so we're going to always be respectful and embracing of our family members and our friends that are affected. You know, like Neely Fuller used to say, it's just a different form of victimization. Yes, yours is you overeat. Yours is you can't stay in relationships. Yours is your money is messed up. These people this is what's happening to them. Their sexuality is confused. We all victims. So, you know, we can kind of come together and embrace the classical principles that African culture is based on. With us being the parent people of humanity, we can't let any house that's letting the children run around and dictate to the parents is insane. So we're really insane that we even entertain some of this stuff the way we do. And we're really afraid, you know, and I'm speaking specifically to Black men because we're either insensitive or we're barbaric when it comes to these conversations. So we can't embrace our daughters, our children, because many of our daughters and children have, you know, because of different abuses and because they have given up on the idea of ever being with the complement sex because of and your example has been so horrible that they said, hey, you know, men suck. So let me just be with a woman because they know how to, you know. So we have to all claim responsibility for this, but at the same time, we don't have to like act like we don't know what is real here. Like one of the last 2 laws of Ma'at is last 2 principles is the ability to know real from unreal and an ability to know right from wrong. That's and right. If you don't have those foundations, those principles, and the other 8 that go with the principles, the 10 principles, if you don't have them 7 virtues, 10 principles, and 42 laws in tow, you're not really qualified to, like Joe Biden said, you ain't Black.
Hey, hold on 1 second. Those y'all hear? Hey, please share the video, like the video, please. You funny as heck. Go to the Akoma House Initiative, hit them up on their website, akomahouseInitiative.com. Remember, their number is 609-474-4203. It's scrolling on the bottom there. The email is akomahouseInitiative@gmail.com. You can hit them up at Nwasha over on Facebook, and also send them some PayPal love at paypal.me/Akoma House Initiative. And of course, their Cash App is right here. The Cash App is going to be right in the front right now. Bang! There it is. Cash App is in the Akoma House. And of course, I want Sister Empress Aisha, do you have another question for them before I go into the postpartum? I want to make sure my son heard it because he's watching, and I want to make sure his wife.
Go into that one. Yes, go into that one. That's very important.
Okay, let's go into postpartum depression and postpartum from both perspectives. Let the man and woman speak on it. Let both of you, Nwasha and Brother Montsho, speak on it, because he called me yesterday, not to put his business out there, but he told me sister might be going through it and she had to get out and all that. And then I told him, don't get into any arguments, brother. Stay calm, stay balanced, stay focused, and you take the baby and do what you have to do to make sure the baby. What would you say to something like that? That situation.
I would agree with that advice. That was excellent. I'll be brief. As a man, I never experienced postpartum, although I fathered 7 children.
Right.
You know, Dr. Africa taught us that the ultimate rites of passage for Black men is marriage and family. And, you know, we go through these other types of rites of passage, but the ultimate rites of passage is marriage and family. And, you know, as the wife goes through challenges, the man often goes through almost an equivalent challenge as the baby is in gestation and being formed, as he projects about the future, the responsibility, the finances, and other things, the state of the relationship that brought the child. He goes through almost a similar experience that the woman goes through when the baby is born. However, for her, it's much more involved because there is a depletion, a huge depletion of, you know, the biochemical elements that make her whole. Because she had to give that to the baby. So those biochemical things become emotional and psychological and behavioral things as well that she loses. And so I think that men have to have support circles of other men who are qualified, who understand, who have been through these experiences to nurture men. I think that one of the things that we're missing as men is the nurturing love of elder men. So that 100-year-old man needs the 120-year-old man, and the 90-year-old man needs the 100-year-old man, and the 70-year-old man needs the 90, and the 50-year-old needs the 70, and the 30-year-old needs the 50. We have to pass the baton of nurturing Black love for men. And so that's why we do the Black Love School the way we do. And I also have a rites of passage on emotional fitness for Black men, because that's the thing that we're missing. But I think in short that he has to recognize that she is not going through postpartum, but we are going through postpartum.
Together. And that's what I told him about empathy.
Right.
I had to learn that word empathy at a later age.
Right.
And after all my divorces.
Right. I know we talked about that one time. You and I talked about that. Right. I learned it after having multiple children.
Exactly. Divorces and multiple children. That's what I went through. So, and he was saying, you know, Pops, that's some good advice. I said, you know, and I told him I was going to have y'all on, and I want to hear from Nwasha, so the sister can listen, because sometimes sisters relate to sisters. Please talk about it if you can, my sister. I know you can. Please.
Yeah, I think a father and a mother, we're not prepared for having children. So much like we're not prepared for relationships, we have a fairy tale vision of what it's going to be like to be pregnant, to go through labor, and to recover, especially in like snapback culture and, you know, being on Instagram and TikTok or wherever you are. There's kind of like this story of people only posting the best of the best of what happens. And it takes a lot to have your baby. I think a lot of women, we know that. We change our diets, we change our behavior, and we are going through something when we are a good mother, when we love our baby. We're going through something from the moment that we find out that we're and sometimes men are not going through that same thing, like Montsho was saying, the preparation for when the baby comes, because men tend to connect when they see their woman expanding and they say, oh, okay, there is something in there. And the baby comes out, there's this kind of fairy tale idea that she's gonna, you know, breastfeeding is gonna be easy. The baby's gonna, you know, take a nap, and and that is like a movie or a TV show, right? What you have to deal with, there is like a postpartum issue. You know, a lot of cultures will have a mother, and I don't know how old the baby is, but a lot of cultures will have a mother get support for a year, right? Where
up to 3 years.
A mother-in-law or a mother will come and stay with the baby, or the woman will stay there with her mom. You know what I mean? So at the minimum, most cultures do 40 days where the mother is brought food, brought water, laid in bed, just cuddling and aiming to breastfeed. And that's it. But in our culture, there's this idea that after 6 weeks, and we know this, right? 6 weeks is what you get off from your job if you're lucky. So there's this idea that after a month and a half, you're going to be great. And sometimes when you don't feel this overwhelming connection to your baby that you imagined that you would, or you're really, really tired and you want to take a shower and you don't, the baby crying doesn't stop you from wanting to take a shower. Sometimes we catastrophize things because we don't know what to expect again. If I was telling my daughter, I would say, hey, you know what? I'm coming over for you just to take the shower so that you don't have the guilt and the, stress and the burden of being a super mom when you're trying to have a baby, especially if it's your first baby. So I think you gave really great advice to say, you do need fresh air. You do need to do something for yourself for a couple of minutes in the day. And you should not feel guilty about that. And ideally, with a new baby, everybody's on the baby schedule when there's a new baby. But to say, hey, the best advice I got was when the baby's sleeping, you should be sleeping. But did I follow that advice the first time around? No. When the baby was sleeping, I was like, great, I can do some laundry and I can do the dishes and I can make myself exactly what I want to eat because I don't like the way Montsho's making it or whatever I was saying to myself. But then when I'm done, the baby wakes up and I'm up for another couple of hours. So really being able to know, to have someone say that these are the things you need to do, maybe for 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And then you're naturally going to love your baby because love is service. So the more that you're serving your baby, this is why we love our babies, because they're not saying thank you. They're rewarding us with a half of a smile that we're saying was a burp, maybe.
Right.
It as a smile because of all the stuff that I've been giving you for days and days and days. This is a smile. I'm going to take it. And this is because we're serving them constantly all day. So there's a measure of the connection that you want to have, again, is partially magnetism. And by you serving and loving, and you're going to get that connection. But you also have to stay connected to yourself, because I remember I had 2 babies back to back. I was pregnant at my first daughter's first birthday party. And I remember being like, man, I don't have my own body to myself because I'm breastfeeding. As soon as I'm about to stop, I'm pregnant again. I haven't worn the clothes that I want to wear because I'm wearing maternity / oversized clothes. And there comes a point where you're like, I don't remember who I am or who I was or who I'm about to be, right? And you do need the mental space, the emotional space, and the physical space. So I would say, 2 minutes of meditation, 5 minutes of journaling, and being able to take a bath or a shower sometimes goes a long way. So I don't know how old the baby is, but if they're
just born. About it's December 28th, the same day as Denzel Washington. So I remember.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
I would definitely say that in this new time.
Yeah.
If he can see a time that she can take a bath or even a shower, right? Being like, hey, you know what? I've got the baby for right now. If it's just after the breastfeeding or something, burping, but you got 10 minutes, being cleaned up does a lot for you emotionally and mentally. So being able to get out, all of those things are really good, but looking for the opportunity to do that is like you said, it's building some of the empathy, because I think that you don't realize, unless you're going through it, what it's like to have milk spilt out all over the place and be in your same outfit and, having combed through your hair, and you just catch a glimpse of yourself in the bathroom as you basically try to brush your teeth is your only hygiene. That's not fun, right? But these are the times that we're supposed to call on the community so that we can say, it'll be this person in the morning, this person in the afternoon, this person in the evening.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Try to create those, multiple 10-minute spans of time are going to go a long way. And whoever it is, being able to say for the mom, it's going to have to be, I relinquish some of the control, and I'm going to let my husband burp how he burps or swaddle how he swaddles, because we also can be super protective of our babies when they're infants, that we are going to be the only one who's going to do everything right. And that's an extra burden on us emotionally and mentally. So being able to say, hey, let me set up the parameters of what I feel comfortable with as a mom, like after I've fed the baby or when the baby is napping, then I feel comfortable, going to do some self-care. But I would say whatever you love to do that you haven't been able to do in the last month, whatever is your go-to self-care, like dancing, reading, getting fresh air, singing, anything like that is like a trigger for lifting your spirits, that becomes your emotional prescription. So in addition to that, because we were students with Dr. Africa, there is a real drop in your hormones. This is why your hair falls out. I had postpartum shedding all around the reproductive areas of the scalp. So there are so many things that are going on that you can kind of be on a high while you're pregnant and getting ready to give birth for that, adrenaline and kick in to actually go into labor. And then there's a significant drop in that. And your body, like Montsho was saying, physically, we kind of see that or feel that, but we don't really understand that there are nutritional things we can do. There are mental and emotional things that we can do. And we actually need to do them. It's like a toss up, like I'm not going to have postpartum. Everyone has postpartum. It just means after the birth. And everyone's experience is going to be different. Postpartum depression, though, like if you have ideas of hurting your baby or any of those types of things, I would say to call someone and say that, because even still we can feel really guilty and we can feel like we're crazy for even having a thought, but all thoughts are in your mind, right? So especially after watching movies all your life and, television all your life, you can have any thought and not necessarily act on it, right? So this is, again, filtering your thoughts through Ma'at and being able to say, I have this feeling, I'm not going to be so embarrassed that I don't tell someone, but I'm also going to know that I'm tired, I'm stressed, so the idea of a baby crying can really be stressing me out, that I have a thought that I wouldn't normally have. Saying those things and just really going through it and saying that even that is normal, kind of like if you have older children and you're like, man, they're loud right now. Or sheesh, they won't leave me alone in this moment. And everyone should be good.
Yeah.
That idea pops into our head when we have adult sons and daughters, right? So we just need to, I think, normalize the process of parenting and marriage and relationships, because most of the time, a lot of us are going into it with no real preparation.
I think the greatest impact of America is individualism. People think about the I, but to be in a relationship, to have a child, we hear the axiom that it takes a village to raise a child and a child to raise a village. It also takes a culture to raise a couple and a couple to raise a culture. And so because we've lost that, we just out here bugging. No two parents can raise a child. And so, the grandparents, the pop and nanas, and that's who they usually trust the most, because that's their parents, should come in and take shifts. I'm just here for 2 hours to just be here, and y'all run around the house or go out or whatever, but I'm here. But then also to really walk that talk, because we believe in taking action. We are going to offer a free session to your son and because we want to give them the opportunity to speak to someone neutral who doesn't really know them, but who are professionals and who could help them to sort out their thoughts and a plan for what we know is going to come up. So let's make sure that they get our information.
I will definitely get it.
And that they identify themselves as connected to you.
Yes,
we got love for you, so we got love for them. And we will work with them and help them, go through this time, because it really takes community. You got to have a lot of people,
I mean, what's so funny? He told me, my son told me, again, I'm not going to throw out too much of it. He actually called, even because he grew up in the Nation of Islam when Khalid and everybody was there. He actually called the main mosque in Chicago to find out some information about this too. That means he really, in this is not his first child, but it's his new wife's first child. And I know that means he really wants to work with this.
Right.
And he really wants to win. And he's a loving spirit. He's born the same day as Bob Marley. So he has this same love energy. So I know I was breaking down a lot of numbers with him and showing him why this is and why I give balance of the two numbers and how it works. And I showed him how it works. So he was really happy. But I told him, look, I said, look, the child just came out of the warmth of the womb. So if it constantly goes to sleep when he's on your body, or she goes to sleep when he's on your body, that's what it remembers most.
Right.
So just take it from the baby. Don't have her do anything and say anything to the child, because what she's going through, she's putting in the child, and what you're going through, you're putting in the child. So y'all got to be balanced. So I was telling him that, because like Ian Levanzan said, and back in the day, she said, you learn what you teach what you needed to learn. I taught what I needed to learn myself.
That's right.
That's community. That's how we're supposed to be, is to say, hey, the things I went through were not empty lessons. They are for me to help somebody else not either be able to get through it easier or to go around it or avoid it altogether. And that's really what community is that we don't have to start from scratch with every endeavor, like having a baby or getting married. We could really be learning from each other. And it's so important, like anyone who is a friend, like even the people, like we always say, when you get married, or you have your baby shower, these are sometimes not empty, but these are the superficial rituals that we're going through. Mm-hmm. When you get married and you have people attending your wedding, that's the community. But when you have people in your wedding party, those are supposed to be the people that are striving for your relationship to work out, right?
They're supposed to be best qualified to make your relationship work. And they're usually not. It's just your homegirl or your homeboy. He's horrible. He sucks at relationships, but he your boy. So
your baby shower. A lot of times we just go somewhere and we register for the gifts that we want and people get them for us. But truthfully, those people need to be able to call, DoorDash and Uber Eats for us. Like if there's a task that you can take off of that new couple with their new baby, then hey, we called for 5 hours of cleaning service, or we got you for 5 meals so that you have some time to not have to do the things that you were just doing. Because I think it's just a lot of expectation that you're going to pop this baby out and go back to the goddess that you were before. You're a new goddess now, right? And getting assistance at this time is well-deserved. And it's actually what is best for the baby. Because when the mom is calm and happy, and when the dad is calm and happy, then the baby can be calm and get used to, like you said, a new existence. When we were doing Dr. Africa's course, the Happiest Baby on the Block was out. I don't know if you remember that course that was going around. There was a doctor who was talking about the fact that there is almost like another trimester on the outside, right? And Dr. Africa was talking about that, like when you are pregnant, the baby is experiencing colors and sounds and all of the senses. So hearing the dad's voice at a certain way, lovingly with the mom, hearing the mom's voice from inside, like you said, when you lay on the mom or the dad and you hear a heartbeat, that's a familiar thing to you. So you have to learn how to now experience life on the outside for a couple of months until you get into a groove to actually let your real personality out. So when you're meeting your baby, even in the first couple of weeks, that's not necessarily how it's going to be, So sometimes, again, we're catastrophizing. We're saying, hey, my baby doesn't sleep, so my baby will never sleep. And we're already, 8 months ahead, upset, right? Yeah. Staying in the present and getting as much help as you can, putting out a group text to all the people who came to the baby shower. Those are the people who can come in and support. Everyone's got talents and everybody has a specialty, and you're going to think of the gap that they might be having.
Right. Well, unmute your thing and get ready to ask your question, please. Just want to remind everybody to please go to their website before Aisha asks a question. I want everybody to go to that. And remember, they got the big Akoma Day celebration. This is celebrating 20 years. Believe me, 20 years is not easy. It's true. Some of us make 20. Some of us make it. 20 years is not easy. It's an international alternative to Valentine's Day, February 14th through the 20th. And of course, decolonize your love. And please go to their website. That's www.akomahouseInitiative.com. I'll say it again, www.akomahouseInitiative.com. Give them a call at 609-474-4203, 609-474-4203, and leave a message if you get a message, because some of our younger people don't like leaving a message, and I totally get it. Yeah, my daughter told me she don't leave messages. I said, what are you talking about?
My children don't either. Peace to warrior goddess Ya Asante Wa in New Jersey.
Yes, big up to Ya Asante Wa. I see it up in there. Yeah. Empress, you got a question, please. Give them the question, please. Yeah, she must be frozen. You frozen?
Recently, no, I'm not frozen. Recently, I've been feeling inspired to actually watch videos about weddings, just to inspire my daughters to want to get married, just because marriage is not in the home. Like, what do you recommend people to do to just inspire that in the youth nowadays? Because nowadays, no one really wants to get married like they used to.
That's a really good point. You know, we wrote the Akoma Day book. The Akoma Day book is actually 3 books in one, this little book. The first part of the book talks about the state of relationships, but we did over 3,000 surveys with teenagers, right? Mm-hmm. And what we saw is a phenomenon. Teenagers do not believe in relationships because of what they're seeing out of adults. But what we saw was that girls, at least since the 60s or 70s, boys have felt a certain way about relationships. But now we see in the last 20 years, girls do not believe in relationships, right? And so, but the first part of this book is about the state of relationships. The second part looks at the Akoma Day holiday and juxtaposes it next to Valentine's Day. And then the third part has over 28 exercises and rituals that you could do for yourself, your family, your loved ones, and your intimate couple to make your relationship better, because we are therapists and we want you to do something, not just read something. It's a very small book. You can read it in a weekend, but to do the 28 exercises that are in here is going to take you some time. Some you could do right away, but others are more project-based, and then others take months to do. But to answer your question, here is the thing, and this is the hard truth. Mm-hmm. We have to fix our relationships, because children there's nothing that we can show. We can't tell children, do as I say and not as I do. The thing that has them uninspired about relationships is what we have to fix to inspire them about relationships. Mm-hmm. So the number one thing that I hear from teenagers, I have many of them on my client roll. They say, I really love my mom, or I really love my dad, but I don't believe they're good at relationships. So mm-hmm. They're not somebody that I look to, Mr. Montsho. I look to you and your wife, but you seem like an anomaly. It's not really a lot of you out here. Wow. So even though I know my parents love me, it's like a fat parent saying to their child, you can be thin and healthy and eat well. Well, if I can, then you should be able to. And if you are not, then I probably can't. Children can cut through the BS very quickly, even when they never say that to their parent, because they love their parent. The same way their parent are projecting to them, I love you, so I want you to do better than me. The child doesn't believe that they can do that in the presence of their parent. Now, if you separate the parent and the child and you say, okay, you over here with these people and these people are an example, this is actually what happens to the child when they get like 7 to 14 years old or beyond. They start to pick up value systems that are outside of their house because they want to fit in with other people, or they're starting to see some people that I go to school with, they eat differently, they believe in different things.
They're experiencing more of
and
the
so
world.
they're starting to experience the world. But that is an excellent question that you asked, Empress, and we get that question a lot. And the honest truth is, you got to show them that you can navigate relationships. For example, a lot of people will deal with a man or a woman 3-4 years, right? And swear to God that their children don't know that they're dealing with this person. And when you talk to the teenage children, like, that's Brother Simon, Mr. Simon, that's my mom. Well, kind of like her friend, she say it's her friend, but they kind of like the child knows what's going on. You know what I mean? They ain't in the bedroom with you, but they know that this is a dude that come over and drop off food and take you places and all. They understand that something is going on here. And so what actually happens for them is, especially like for the girls, let's just take the girls. They get the messaging that a dude doesn't have to commit to you. And if he does the simplest things for you, he can have every part of you. Why? Because that's what my mom is doing. That's what my aunt is doing. That's what the lady down the street is doing. That's what women do. That's what it is like to be in a relationship. So there isn't something that we can like show them or say to them, and then their reality is antithetical to that idea. They're going to model what the people who they love the most are saying or doing, and or they're going to model what they're actually seeing. And so this is why we say to people, the usefulness of your relationship has to have a purpose. You as your life has to have a life purpose before you're ever qualified to mate with another person. In fact, that is the primary qualification that we talk about. It ain't money, degrees, any of that. It's knowing your life purpose and why you're here on this earth is the first thing that qualifies you to be in a relationship. Once you know that, then you have a unified purpose, which is one of the principles of Akoma Day. Why are you two together? It has to be more than just a micro purpose that fulfills your own character development. It has to have a macro purpose that serves the larger community. If two people coming together doesn't serve the larger community, they shouldn't be together. But we are vexed with this misnomer that our relationship is nobody business and da-da-da-da. Sure, there's a part of your relationship that's not for your children. That's not for anybody. That's just between the man and the woman. But then the rest of your relationship is for everybody. And everybody should see, why are you hiding your relationship from all the children in your community? This is why they don't believe in love. So you can't turn on the TV and show them nothing. They don't even know nothing about the Cosby Show or any of that old stuff.
That you can, like we were talking about in the beginning, live in front of your children. So right. You are saying, I got divorced, I never got married, and I believe that marriage is important. What you really have to translate to your children, like we do with other things like education, cooking, doing the dishes, sports, we translate our values to our children. Even if I didn't play a sport, I can tell the value about it and make sure that I put you around people who are, informed about that sport, right? And that's what we have to do with relationships. So it's going to take us expanding our personal circle and say, who are my happily married friends? And then look around. If I don't have any, I need to be able to show my daughters and my sons relationships. So that has to be a friend, a cousin of ours, an aunt, and uncle. And then I have to tell them why I think marriage is important. And even I have to show my children when I'm correcting myself. So if I am, like the fat parent, right? And I'm trying to tell my children that we are eating a certain kind of way, there's some reforming that I have to do in front of my children. Right. And then I can say, you can stay thin or healthy, and I can get to that point. But we are doing this in this household. And I think even more than like, there aren't a lot of marriage shows out. And we have always said this, there tend to be a lot of the superficial ritual of having a wedding and picking a dress. And those things don't have anything to do with marriage, actually. It's really just the one couple of hour ceremony that signifies the beginning of a marriage. So I think it's difficult to point to something, but there are books, there are, we have couples in the Akoma book that we've honored, by listing them. So I think that really saying, what does this couple represent? This is someone that I look up to. If you can write a list of 25 couples that you know, or that you don't know personally, that you can say, these are people that I'm inspired by their path, right? And Montsho even mentioned like fictional characters like the Cosby Show or anything like that. For our children, there's a lot of inspiration that's going to come. So we do have to be mindful of what we're talking about and what they're watching. But I think that just being able to say, you know what, I think that marriage is really important and I would like to have that in my life. And I really would hope that you all would meet your soulmates and have a unified purpose with someone and have intentional love. Having those kinds of conversations and seeing what they think about it right now is very important. Like, what do you think of marriage? Yeah. And then seeing what they even believe, because a lot of times we are working on behalf of our children without asking them for their input, without just saying like, how can I be a better mother? How can I be a better father? What is it that you believe about love? And then saying from what they give you, getting on a plan to give them some more variety and some more truth, because it's not true that every relationship is bad either. You know what I mean? But the same thing happens when you're watching Love and Hip Hop, or, everything is toxic and everything is about a fight because it's sensational. So finding some balance and saying that these are some real couples that we know in the community, at church, in a temple, online, in a book, from history, but really being like, this is who we can look at and study the same way that we sometimes do with doctors and inventors and the best of us who have gone into athletics or music. We tend to like follow those people or study them in some way, but we're not studying or following the things that are practical and that also bring us a lot of fulfillment. Some of the other things that we're looking at is not what's making that person fulfilled, but we don't look at their personal life or their background story. We just see the sensational aspects of them living in front of the community, but really being able to say, if this person's doing this for a living, they are happy, right? They've gotten the ability to shine their individual purpose because of the support that they have from family and, coaches and producers and everybody who's there. It's more than just that one person. Like Montsho was saying, the idea of living through individualism is a challenge. But I think that culturally, we have always learned to celebrate the individual through their individuality. What is their unique gift that they're bringing? But not necessarily living from all that matters is my point of view, this individualism. So I think that that's really what we have to share with all of our children, our sons and our daughters, put couples in front of them, find out what they believe about love, and then tell them what we believe about love, even when they haven't been able to see it from our actions. Because there's always a discrepancy with what children are seeing and what they are hearing from us. So they're left to put a lot of puzzle pieces together on their own, and they shouldn't have to be, some things we can fill in for them.
No. Before we move on, I want to ask one more question from me, and I don't know if Sister Empress Aisha have any more questions. You have any more questions, Empress Aisha? You're on mute. You unmute yourself. Unmute. I guess you forgot to unmute.
I'm sorry, I have children in here, so I don't want to be. I don't want something to happen, so I keep muting it just in case they come knocking on the door.
We know how that goes.
Keep muting it.
But do you have any questions? I'm gonna make sure I want to ask this one more question. You have any questions?
I don't necessarily really have a question, but I really do commend you all, you both. I mean, I wish this school. I wish I knew about this school forever ago, and I really would love to just spread the knowledge, spread the information to the community, which like where I live. Because, I live in the Bronx. I live in Bronx, New York. So I witnessed a lot of single parents, fathers, most mothers who are doing it by themselves. But, even even if the father's not there, he's still kind of like, you know, single with this adrift parent. And I just like, I just feel like we this right here, this whole podcast should be like live on the billboard. Like we need a big old screen out here in the hood, like just live, like everyone can see it. To go driving on the highway. We just need this. It's so healing. It's y'all are so appreciated, and I just hope that y'all create more coaches like you all, because we need love soldiers out here.
Right. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You know, it was this time last year that we was doing something with King. Well, now it's 2019. We're in 2021 now, but we did King Simon's event, and it was a beautiful. We just, you know, as I said, King Simon, we just got a new client. And as we do our intakes and on our forms and stuff, we ask people, you know, how did you discover us? Because we've done a lot of things. We've been on TV and a lot of different things. And the brother said, hey, King Simon had this event at the college in New York. It was an amazing event. You guys were first. He said, I wasn't going to stay the whole time, but you guys came up and your presentation was so good. I ended up staying the whole time. Yeah. And I tried to speak to you guys afterwards, and you was on the go. We had our children, you remember, we had our little children, because we got grown children and little children. But we, you know, so it just is a testimony to, I say this to people, you know, I was a single parent when I met Nwasha with my oldest son. Me and his mom was, you know, by the time he was 4 or 5 months, it was going downhill. By his first 2 weeks before his first birthday, me and his mom separated. And then I took him about a month or so after that, and he moved out a few years ago. You know, he's 27 this month. But, you know, when I met Nwasha, he was 6 years old, and I was worn out. You know, I had a community of friends, and I, you know, as I always say, it's no such thing as a real single parent, because you always got your friends, your family, whatever. You're not doing it alone. You got the teachers, the coaches, and we have to embrace that mentality. But from an intimate space, you know, my son wasn't seeing me and his mother happy, and he wasn't seeing me in, you know, my greatest self, because love, the intimate love relationship, is the most powerful and transformative relationship on the earth. It's the only relationship that creates life. And there's a reason because of that. It really brings you to the highest station. What we see around the world with the people that we work with is that everybody believes that love is possible. They just doubt if they can do it. And we showed them that there is an art and a science to it. If you follow the art and science, you'll be okay. Then we add community with things like the Black Love School. And Empress, we would love to have you come as a guest and just come check it out and see what it's like, because it's amazing. You know, what we hear people saying, like, yo, I never talk to people from this part of the world about relationships, and you know, and he's cute or she's cute. Who is that? And are they single? You know, so we got a lot of that going on, but we're really getting in deep. We're breaking this thing down, because what we see in the art and science of Black love culture, men really need the art. They need to understand why. They need to be in love. They're going to have more sex. They're going to live longer. They're going to have more money and all the things that come with it. They don't understand why that's important. So they got it in the background. Women definitely need the science. They need the steps, the methodology, because they start at step 1 and then they at step 6 and then they go to step 3 and like, what are we doing here? We slept together. Who are, you know, are we, what is this? After now that we done had sex 4 times, I didn't know, what's your middle name? You know, we're trying to figure each other out, and we way beyond that. So women really definitely need to have the steps. Men need to understand the philosophy, and the two come together. We both need them both. But what we find is that men really need that art and women really need that science. And so if we come together that way, and then we put you in the proximity of other couples, myself and Nwasha and other couples, some that have been together 20 years, we got a couple in Africa they hardly ever make the calls because they're in a different time zone, but they've been together for 60 plus years. You know what I mean? And they're Black Love School students, and they love us and they love what we're doing. So, you know, we need community around relationships. That's the one thing that we got to tell everybody. You know, you can't have a successful relationship. If you Black and you trying to have a successful relationship by yourself in this day and time, when the whole world is saying that we don't love each other and we don't make it together, you need some help. We all need some help. We need each other. So everybody come in, you know, come check it out, you know.
And that's so funny because I told, you know, getting myself back together, I told people, I said, look, I do not have a single people as my consultant when it comes to relationship. People like Phil Valentine and Dr. Nalani are some people that I look at too. I look at Ashra Kwesi and his wife, Professor Smalls and his wife is offered also. And that's what you need, those community, and Dr. Jeffries and his wife, Dr. Ross. They have offered too. So
we got all of them in here and we work with them. And we work with Asha and Marewa. Professor Small wants to host a Akoma Day at the Sana Village in Ghana every year. So we've talked to him. But you know what? I just want to give you a compliment, King Simon. And what I want to say to you as a man, but any women out there who are on their second, third, fourth, or fifth marriage. Baba Haru told us many years ago when we were going through. I'm from the first initiatory crossing of Divine Sacred King Man. Everybody talks about sacred women, but they don't know it's a male counterpart to that initiation. We only had a few crossings, but I'm from the first one in 1999 to 2000. We had 30 men go through. And one day we were in session and we were laughing at Elizabeth Taylor was about to get married, I think for the 9th time. And Baba Haru let us talk, and we was, you know, young and stupid. This was over 20 years ago. And he said, you know, it's way more honorable for a woman to get married 9 times than it is for a woman to have 9 sex partners in her life and never get married. And he started to break that down, and we were silent, you know what I mean? And he said, you know, for a person like her, who is filthy rich, famous, and doesn't have to get married at all by most standards for her survival. She's marrying because she believes in love. The courage to marry once, to marry twice, to marry 3 times, to marry 4 times is not foolishness. It's a belief in something that's greater than yourself. The institution of marriage is the seed of nationhood. So many Black people talk about our community or us coming up as a people, but they don't include marriage in that. We have nothing if we don't have marriage and family. And so I say to you, brother, I respect you.
Thank you.
Anybody that has been married multiple times, we commend you and we salute you. And if you are on your third, fourth, fifth, sixth marriage, whatever, shout us out for a free consultation so we can help you figure this thing out from your classical perspective, your autochthonous culture, as Baba Valentine always says. We use that word so much. Your original culture, what we brought the story of Cinderella and the myths and the stories and the poems and the monuments and the lakes and all of that to the world. Get that from your culture, because all you're missing, you have the drive because you keep doing it, but all you're missing is a couple alignments. But anybody with that kind of courage, I commend you and I salute that, bro. That's real.
Before we finish, one more question, because I know y'all pressed for time. Y'all got things y'all got to do for tomorrow. This whole y'all very busy. But a lot of people are heading towards things like tantric practices. What do you say about the tantra and those type of sexual healing or sexual tantric practices that they're doing and people are now going towards? And I spoke to a Master Yao a couple months ago, and I'll be speaking to him again. And I've spoken to Nit Yama. I've spoken with Nit Yama. I've had him on a platform before. What do you think about those practices that are going on called the tantric practices?
Well, we do go over certain breathing practices, sex positions and, some of the things that Dr. Africa, did share with us.
Yeah.
So I think that what's really important for Black people is to make sure that we learn something that's coming from our perspective. A lot of times when we are discovering things, it's coming from the dominant culture, which has kind of whitewashed our practices. So we definitely were the first people to understand that certain positions are healing. Even the genital reflexology is something that is indigenous culture, that every part of your body and all meridians of your body actually have, corresponding organs and, sync up with other people. So I think that there's nothing wrong with studying Tantra if that's going to help you perform better, help you connect, help you experience, more deeper levels of intimacy because you can control your mind. You're actually very present. But I think what's really important is to make sure that we learn things through a cultural lens that is our cultural lens. So it's similar to anything else. If you learn about history, if you learn about, any one event in history, the idea is you want to get the perspective of the event, not just like one person's account, right? So if there's a war or if there's a, demonstration, it's our job to kind of put the 360 degrees together. And that's very important in any sexual study, because a lot of times, unfortunately, when you're doing something in this culture, it is just about your performance. Like, I want to go into tantric sex so I can have sex for 8 hours and 35 orgasms. And that's not necessarily the intention that you need when you're learning something. But studying sex, again, I think like you should not accidentally fall upon sex and just your parents tell you don't get pregnant and don't get diseases. You really should learn that, the reflexology of the penis is going to be complementary to the vagina. And that has a point to it, whether it's the position that you're in or just learning how you're really connecting with a person is not just at the superficial level. It's really like your internal organs are rubbing up against each other as well. So I think that we really need to be able to say, if I go into this practice and I study this from this perspective, that I'm like climbing a ladder, like this might be my entry point to learning something, but I should understand that the information really came from the top down. And I really have access to a teacher who's at the first and second rung of the ladder. And I should look for sources like African Holistic Health or, something that's more holistic, that I can look at Dr. Africa's references and say, let me also then go get these books, because this is a person that is coming from an African holistic perspective. And at the minimum, this is enough information for me to study for a decade of my life. So if I go with any suggestion in any paragraph that he wrote, probably has like 3 other resources in it. That's where I should really start. And it is something to get live information, and to go into courses. But I would tell anyone listening to this, you should sign up for Black Love School, because we talk about,
let me tell you,
African, symbolism. We talk about reflexology. We talk about what the orgasm actually is from a cultural perspective. And these are things that you're not normally taught, especially when someone is segmenting indigenous knowledge and then giving it to you based on their cultural lens. You won't hear what an orgasm actually is from an African perspective, because you're learning from, an Indian perspective or a, Chinese perspective. And we have to be able to study something and know the cultural lens that it's coming through and what purpose it was serving. Because it's the same as learning some information like right now about Pythagoras, right? If we learn the Pythagorean theorem in math class, is he the originator of the right triangle? No, right? But we're learning things that are labeled a certain way and not realizing that it's our own knowledge. And definitely, as Montsho said, the parent people on the planet were having sex first. So we need to be able to say.
That's how they got here. But let me say this. Go to the Black Love School. This summer, we had a class called, it was about the orgasm. I forget the title of the class. It was the orgasm, the intimate knowing of climax or something like that. I forget the subtitle of the class now. but the class was the illest. Go to it. If you pay $42 for the subscription, you'll have it forever, or you could buy it for $42. Soleil was in that class.
Oh my goodness, Soleil, yes.
And she went in on tantric sex because she is really, she is, now she's married to Professor Griff. She used to be married to Genuine, but she really talked about her study in tantric and really connecting it to African culture, and that whole movement hiding the fact that the tantric sex originates in Africa. And so it's like so many different things. Indian culture is very, mystifying or misleading sometimes, because the core of Indian culture, the foundation of it, is jet black. They are not continental Africans, but they are the largest group of Black people outside of Africa. Now, these people that we see in 7-Elevens or wherever, they say I'm not Black, they are the grandchildren of the original seed of that. But when you go to India, as Soleil was saying, you got people there that are so dark, they make me look like Nwasha's complexion. You know what I mean? that seed of that culture is from Black people. And so the tantric art of sex, along with Sanskrit and a lot of the different things that we identify with India, is Black people's stuff, right? Go get that class, because Soleil went in and we were like, the whole class was like, damn, like it was really deep. Yeah, the sex, yeah.
We're not taught that there are 7 senses, so we're just focused on the 5 physical that we learn about in school. But really able to cultivate a sexual experience, that's part of the art again.
Yes.
And the science. But also the science of sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. Like, they are a way for us to interpret the world, and we sometimes look at them as secondary things, and we are not including as much as we could in sex. So I think that just taking a certain perspective, there's maybe like about 5 classes about sex, but definitely the orgasm, the 7 senses of sex is going to turn into a full course next summer, or this summer coming up, because we had such a great response with
it was. Oh, Nikki Love said this is her year for love. Nikki Love, reach out to us, Queen. We gonna help you. But yeah, it's really important to know why some people go, and some people go, oh, and some people go, ah, versus what those organs are. Those are actually your organs speaking.
Right.
That's deep. It's not just you wanted to say versus ah or ooh.
Or get the hell off of me. It's a whole different thing.
That's organ speaking. When you hear that, that's a different organ speaking. But yeah, when you hear I'm with you. But yeah. So we break all of that down from an African standpoint, like why you're even saying the sounds that you're hearing during sex, why you have a proclivity to certain positions or different things, and what you're physically attracted to. But in the sex, in the heat of love this year, we also dealt with surviving sexual trauma, because so many of us have been vexed with that. I am a survivor of sexual molestation as a young child, and many of us are.
Yes.
And we're not dealing with those issues. So we had a beautiful class on that, and we gave techniques and things for people to deal with that. So, just come get with it. Listen, this $42 a month. It's $1.40 a day to get this kind of access, where you're getting this healing. Now, if you need more personal stuff, you can work with us directly. We have packages, but we need this healing. And, we created the Akoma House Initiative because we were, in grad school trying to start this firm, and we saw a void in the country. We were it was 2006. We were looking around, and when you would Google Black love, you would see white people in black sweaters and black shirts and stuff like that. It was nothing. Then, you know, the Obamas came in on the scene in 2007, and then Black love became more of a conversation. By 2008, a lot of people were saying, oh, we want Black love. But then when that subsided, when that started to subside, we went back to what we know, which is, you know, we're hurting and we're dysfunctional. We love each other, we love ourselves, but we don't always know how to do that. And when challenges come up, because they will, we don't know how to respond appropriately. But you have the opportunity now to get that help. You could come in and check it out. Go look at the free classes on Decolonize Your Love or self-care, because the way you care for yourself really sets the standard for how everybody else is going to care. And, you know, I talk to women a lot of times, and sisters say, so sis, you know, talk to me about your self-care. What does a week look like with self-care? And you know what they say? I don't have no time for that. But they don't make the connection that he don't have no time for you and you don't have no time for yourself. So it's a polarity there, like it's a magnetism. You don't have time for you. There are a lot of men who are looking for women like that. They're looking for a woman who puts herself last in her life so he can put you last in his life. And so it's like, don't go around talking about, I never do anything for myself. I don't have time for that. Because if you say that, then you're telling men, come take advantage of me.
Needed to know. So these are things that are part of our rite of passage on love that we just didn't get. It's never too late to learn these things.
Never.
Ideally, you're going to be anything that anybody learns in Black Love School, they can easily give to their children.
That's right.
Or to other people, because
That's
it's really just an idea of embodying something. It's you know, more than just reading a book, which we sometimes don't finish and we don't implement. And it's more than just a conversation about love, which that proliferates online all the time. You'll hear us talking about the issues that Black women have and Black men have and that we have together.
Get off the Black love
really
websites.
Being able to do something different and to learn certain things about your mind, your body, your emotions, and all that we really have access to. We have access to more than what we think we have. And that's us, luckily, being Black people. We have access to the senses, all 7 of them, to the elements, all 7 of them, right? And we're not taught about that original kind of science. So it's hard for us to apply it. But this is why we move in seasons. This is considered like a rite of passage. And the idea of us going through something together and focusing on something and learning something and applying something, this is why we call it heart work. You actually have to do that and then see that you are not that far off.
And you're not alone.
You're not alone. And the change that you can see in your life is extreme.
Exponential.
It's exponential because you can feel empowered. So a lot of times we don't feel empowered as Black people. We feel capable. We feel like strong. You know, we have a story that we've been told.
Resistance and rebellion.
But we actually can access so much more power. And it can be done in a way that creates more ease for us instead of always in the struggle. Like people talk about struggle love. We are saying that there's going to be some character development, but it doesn't have to be the uphill battle and fight and war and struggle that we're presented and that we're perpetuating because we haven't seen another way. There is another way of loving. There's another way of being in the world. And that's what we're tuning into now, that we can really make changes. If we've seen something for 10 to 20 years, it doesn't take 10 to 20 years to come out of it. So even the things that you may have gone through in your family that you may have seen, all it takes is for you to now create a new empowering story about your life and what you expect from other people, and you will instantly start to magnetize those things to you. So whether it is just you've been thinking about something and you landed on this live, the way that synchronicities line up, it's never an accident. You know, we sometimes think of it as an accident or just, you know, happenstance.
It's divine ordination.
But these are things that you're pulling to yourself. We all get glimpses of that. And you can have the same thing in love. You can pull something to yourself that you feel worthy of, that you feel, you know, is, like we said, the relationship of your wildest dreams. When we ask people that, you know what they say? I want respect. I want good communication. Yep. I want peace. I want passion. Even with a magic wand, even in your wildest dreams, people say the most basic common things, but we don't believe that that is what we can get. So we need the permission of the magic wand or the wildest dream, but we don't believe that we can really create that in our lives. And from today, you need to think that if you have that vision in your heart and in your mind, that it's something that's calling to you and that you deserve to have that.
That's right. Let's give them a well-deserved round of applause for just being on. My goodness, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Look at what happened because our book fell off the shelf. And now here we are 2 years later. We've done workshops together. We've done videos together. Please check out the Akoma Day. We're broadcasting live every day from our fan page, Akoma Day Every Day on Facebook. We've got a lineup of couples coming with us. It's amazing from all over the world. In Walimu Baruti, we got Soleil, we got a whole Griff, we got a whole bunch of people, different amazing couples that are rocking with us through this 7 days to help the world celebrate the 20th annual Akoma Day. If you need the counseling, get with us. Free consultations for everyone. You know, we the Black Love School is there. We on every week, every other week we have the live call. Please get your Black love on, the art and science of Black love cultures. King Simon, we love you. Thank you so much.
Love you.
Anytime you want to have us back, we with it.
Oh, without a doubt, I want people to support their website. Please support their website. That's, of course, AkomaHouseInitiative.com. Email them at AkomaHouseInitiative@gmail. Give them a call at 609-474-4203 and send them some love, man. Send them some Cash App. If you're in America, you can do the Cash App right now. If you're in the West Indies, you can do PayPal, or England, you can do PayPal.me/Akoma House Initiative. And once again, myself and Empress Aisha Moore want to thank you very much. Give you another round of applause and say thank you. And all of the love you showed, all of that, man. You did a great job.
Thank you.
I'm definitely gonna send my son and his beautiful queen to you, and I'm gonna contact you. And of course, I know Empress Aisha is gonna contact you. And I hope everybody on this feed is gonna contact you. Big up to Kafunya. Y'all need to link up with Kafunya on Lance Scurv's show, because they got a nice show out of Africa that y'all need to link up.
Kafunya, hit us up, brother.
I'll connect y'all. It's a good show.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Y'all have a good evening. Okay.
Nia Akoma.
Oh, Nia Akoma. I like that. Nia Akoma.
All right. Peace. All right. That's my family, man. Thank y'all very much. Yes. Give them a round of applause. We did a great job, man. It was a very beautiful show. I hope everybody enjoyed what we offered through them. Remember, that's their Cash App. This is their site. I'm going to give you the whole thing right now. Hold on 1 second. Let me make sure we go to this so people can see it instead of it scrolling. The Akoma House Initiative for their services and courses, 609-474-4203. That's 609-474-4203. Akoma House Initiative @gmail. Of course, www.akomahouseInitiative.com, Facebook, Nwasha, and of course, their PayPal is the one, the only PayPal.me/Akoma House Initiative. How you doing, lady? You came in a little after the hours. How you feeling? You good?
I'm feeling good. Yes. Been working. That's why.
That's right. You're supposed to be working.
Projects.
Non-stop. Keep them projects popping.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure y'all hit her up, of course, Empress Aisha Moore, of course, my co-host with the vibes, and a spiritual vibe, spiritual upliftment, and self-esteem consultation. Make sure you hit her up via email at Empress Aisha Moore @gmail, or show some Cash App love if you can. Empress Moore, and of course, a PayPal, Aisha McBride @gmail.com. Don't forget, make sure you support. I know, right? I'll go crazy. Make sure you support her earrings now. These are orgasmic stuff. There's the Womillion Adornments. That's the orgasmic stuff. All you have to do is hit her up by the email or whatever, or her DM her at Womillion_adornments. But you can hit up at these emails and all that and show some love. And she got some great rates, man. And I hope the family and everybody's well. I hope they're doing good.
Yes, they are.
Okay, good. They behaving themselves.
Oh, most certainly. Yes.
She said, you better stop playing. They better. Again, want to big them up again. This is their Black Love, of course. You can go to their Black Love School. And of course, they got the winter, spring, summer, and fall edition. And of course, it's only $42 a month to get all that great information, personalized information, classes, and have access. And of course, they have the Akoma Day International Alternative for Valentine's Day, celebrated in over 14 and more countries. And of course, it's from February 14th to the 20th. Decolonize your love. So we can get back into real love. Go to www.akomahouse.com, AkomaHouse Initiative.com. Let me pick up some of these sponsors before we get on out of here, say our prayers. Let me see. This Tuesday, don't forget, I'm doing an exclusive Q&A with all those that have purchased my book, that has my book, any one of the books. If you got them, email me, take a picture, email me, email me a receipt. Let me know that you have purchased, because I'm going to send you the link to the exclusive Q&A with yours sincerely, King Simon. And of course, the Numerovation, that's what I'm known as all over the world. I am King Simon at Gmail is where you need to email me. So if you have any one of my books from this book, no promotion is bad promotion. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Numbers are simple, children's health is important. Or the new one, Numerovation for mental stability. If you have any one of those books, please, you make sure you email me and send me a picture that you have it with your finger in the picture. Now, don't just send me a picture that you might have taken. Or a receipt. Please send me a receipt or something. Let me know that so I can send you the link to this exclusive Q&A hosted by Dr. Angela Anaton, the author of It's Your Fault. And she's a biology teacher, and she's an educator for many, for certain colleges and schools. So enough respect to her. She'll be hosting it because she's a dear friend of mine. And I'm going to share a story that her and I have about my relation with her, with numerology and all that kind of stuff, and her family and all that. Also, once again, want to make sure we shout out some of the other sponsors. Of course, Janelle Lewis, licensed real estate salesperson and consultant, 347-866-1153. Suppose you do want to buy a property and you just need some consultation to find out how to do this. Yeah. This sister can help you. She can break it down for you, and she can show you that love. Also, remember, Lloyd Strayhorn has his classes. Please go to the world-renowned astronumerologist, to his website, www.lloyd-strayhorn.com. And he got two classes now. He got the beginner's class, and he got the intermediate class. So very good classes, very good knowledge, very good information coming out of his book, Numbers and You. Make sure you support Brother Lloyd. And when my classes come, it's a whole different thing, because I'm teaching Numerovation, holistic Numerovation course, learn the bath method. I have my own method, whole curriculum that I'm developing, learning how to see beyond, around, tracking the number and hearing the number, why we hear numbers. And of course, pedalwise.com, natural gynecologist, acupuncturist, great person. As you can see in my IG, I was hanging out with her and Billy Carson this weekend. Great combination of two Virgos. Those are two Virgos. It was very interesting. Dealing with two Virgos. Beautiful thing. And remember, hit her up at pedalwise.com. She got some great antiviral stuff for men and women. She got products for men and women. She got stuff for women, especially for womb cleansing and all different types of things. Even pain relief salve she has. Very good stuff. I'm even using one. I got something from her, and I got an antiviral stuff to keep the immune system built. So make sure you hit her up. Also, if you want to do a Numerovation session with me, please text me your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. Those that want to advertise, also, you can text me at 347-496-1022. But if you're outside of the United States with products or want to do a session with me, please use use WhatsApp. If you're outside of the United States, I repeat, if you are outside of the United States, not if you live here, don't use WhatsApp, use regular phone line. But if you're outside of the United States and you want to hit me up, please, and advertise on this show some great products or books or whatever. Make sure, as long as it's not disrespectful to anybody or any people or whatever, I want to make sure you can advertise. Those who want to advertise, I got a great rate for the month, and you be on all my stations. I even plug you on my social media, shout you out, and make sure everything is going well for you, and promote and send some customers, because I have an organic audience. I didn't pay for these audience. I didn't do it. I organically raised this audience, and we're broadcasting not only on YouTube, we're broadcasting on Facebook, on King Simon Presents, on King Simon on Facebook, King Simon Productions on Facebook, and also Twitter at King Simon Prod. And we have a certain amount of people watching on all of those different platforms, including this one. So make sure you text me. And hey, that is it so far before we close out with prayer. And here's the thing, content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guests, speakers, or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. You know what? Gotta always cover your backside. Pause. Always cover your backside. Pause. All right, my dear, you ready for the prayer?
I am ready for the prayer.
All right. Okay, great, my dear. Let you say it with your sweet voice, my sister's voice. Let her say it. But let me big up Dr. Blair's site before we do that. For continuation of Dr. Blair's legacy, please go to his official website at www.themetacenter2.com. That's themetacenter2.com for books, ELF protectors, products, and much more. January 31st will be, I think, 3 to 4 years since he's passed on. And we're saying his prayers and keeping his prayers up. And this is the prayer. And this is for the beautiful voice of Empress Aisha Moore. Go ahead, my dear. Please say the prayer. Everybody, we're getting ready to say prayer. Prayer time. We're going to count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead, my sister.
Please, Universal Creator, know in my heart that I love you. Please protect me and this planet on which I live now. Please open my mind, my spirit, and my soul to receive only truth in your love now.
Thank you very much, my dear. Let's give you a round of applause for just being here. Give you a round of applause. Thank you, 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 thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And
it was so good at flattering.
Give yourself a big old hug from Florida. I'm giving you all this heat from Florida. So
yes.
Yeah.
I gotta stand myself for that because you get all that heat from Florida.
Yeah, I got a big ass fan. You see this big ass book? But thank you very much, my sister. Have a safe evening. Enjoy. Give those children some love and a hug for me. All right.
Yes.
All right, my dear. Take care.
You too. Thank you.
All right, peace. That was the Empress herself, Aisha Moore. Aisha Moore. Ba-da-da. Family, I'm so glad we had this time together just to have a laugh and sing some songs. And I'm so happy that Montsho and Nwasha was here with us. It's a time we had to say so long. I'm out of here, family. Love y'all. Y'all be safe, stay focused, stay strong. And don't forget this coming Tuesday. This is what it's all about. All right. Have a great day, afternoon, or evening. I applaud all of you for being with us and staying up with us, and applauding you for just being your great self. Peace.